Afternoon. I know it's noon in the middle. For me, it's noon, middle of the day on a beautiful Tuesday. So I'm hoping that people will join in live today. But chances are, people are at work and living their awesome lives, and that's all good. So they'll probably, hopefully, watch this video. If they're not able to join live, man, I hope you're enjoying this video later on in the recording, and that you get a lot from it. Um, Thank you for joining me. See, I got this thing again, dude. It seems like make sure sound alerts. Why? What in the world, man? Seems like your sound alerts browser source is offline. Make sure you've implemented the source correctly in OBS. That makes no sense, dude. Why is this error coming up? No idea. Point is that I'm really glad to be hanging out this afternoon and be talking about Enroute procedures, Enroute IFR procedures. It's IFR Tuesdays, and my name is Philip, and I'm a certified flight instructor down here in LA, and I am wearing a Donkey Kong themed Game of Thrones t-shirt. We've got Jon Snow up there and Ghost. It says I know nothing. We got the Night King. We got the zombie dragon right there, dude. We got some of the White Walkers heads on the thing, and then you got a Daenerys down there in the bottom with her dragon trying to hold it down. So, fantastic shirt. I believe I got this on Box Lunch, and let's see here. Cool. Yes, and I'm wearing that. I am wearing that T-shirt, and I am excited to talk about IFR procedures today. So, um, my plan is to kind of briskly like run through the en route procedures for IFR flying, some of the en route chart symbols, and some of the things that are at work to help us get places like to and from places en route. And then hopefully, if there's time, to do a little bit of sim. I have a student at 3, so I believe there should be some time to do at least one flight in the sim utilizing those same tools and kind of just talking through some of the things that we go through in the ground school. So have your notebooks out, and let's get to it. So over here, share my screen with you guys, and let's find our en route procedures for IFR. Ooh, physiology, that'd be awesome. We'll do that probably next month. En route procedures. Ooh, we should do clearances as well. That'd be awesome. All right. So this is IFR Tuesdays, and so today we are talking about the instrument rating, and we'll be discussing en route procedures. What I mean by en route procedures is definitely the way that we get to and from places, but it's really about understanding chart symbols and some of like the methods with which are some of the methods that we use to uh, um, or I should say definitely methods, but some of the publications that we use, whether they're charts or like the chart supplement, to look up like what these routes are going to be. Because the thing is when you're talking about IFR en route, these routes are often established, predetermined paths between places. And especially when you're talking about the terminal area, like in the area around a busy Class Bravo type airspace area, that busy terminal area will typically have what's called tower en route. And what tower en route is a it's a system in place of routes and established altitudes that are specific for specific types of aircraft in order to keep aircraft of dissimilar performance separated and aircraft of similar performance organized together. And so that way that traffic flow is more easily managed. And so let's take a look at some of these chart symbols, and let's actually take a look at what we're going to be talking about. So what's to come? Okay, so we'll start with the en route navigation, looking at charts and some of the symbols. We'll be looking at airways and the different ways that airways are represented. We'll be looking at tower en route control, like I mentioned. There's the green book, the chart supplement, and we'll be using the Southern California tower en route as an example, since that's where I'm at. But there are other busy terminal areas around Class Bravos that also have tower en route. San Francisco, all kinds of other ones. We'll be looking at a lot of chart symbology, not just airways, but for example, changes in altitude, type how airspace is represented, and different types of minimum altitudes actually that we want to be aware of. Okay, so that is sort of like how we what are the chart symbols. We'll be taking a closer look at the different types of altitudes in particular. What they are, what type of protection do they offer us, and what are the different types of altitudes that that are represented on the charts, on the en route charts. En route reporting procedures will be covered, and the radio work for like reporting your position and the types of things that you need to include. Okay. So when talking about airways, what are we talking about? These are predetermined or predefined pathways, usually between VORs, that you could have GPS airways though that are between that are strings of GPS waypoints. They are essentially three-dimensional freeways in the sky. That is basically the best way to kind of describe it. That the network of airways allows for traffic to be on designated like roads, and instead of lanes like on a freeway where lanes keep everybody separated horizontally, aircraft are separated vertically in on airways. So they are 8 miles wide, so you've got 4 miles to either side of this airway of a particular airway that offers 2,000 foot clearance for obstacles in mountainous areas, and 1,000 foot clearance of obstacles in non-mountainous areas, and basically the whole western United States is considered mountainous, even if you're in flat agricultural California or something. It's all considered mountainous. So you've got those levels of protection 4 miles either side of the airway. V, you can see here like Victor 4 right here. Victor 4 denotes VOR airways, airways that are used primarily using a VOR, V for Victor. So they'll say intercept Victor 64 or Victor 4, right? Victor 4 right there. Yeah, and so IFR aircraft, they're separated vertically by 1,000 feet. The low altitude uses Victor airways that begin at 1,200 feet above the ground and up to Class Alpha at 18,000 feet. And then from 18,000 to 45,000 feet, we've got jet routes that are denoted with the J right there, J4, Juliet 4. Okay, so those are some things about airways, how they're represented, and some, like an intro to that. These are going to be that these exists at low and high altitude. So consequently, you've got a low altitude IFR chart and a high altitude IFR chart. That's what L and H stand for, actually. Like we're down here in Southern California on the instrument Enroute charts. We're on like the L3 and the L4, or one of those, I forget which one, but extends up the coast of California to Northern California. So we're on the L 3 and 4. Very, very useful to us. But the only reason why it's the L3 or the L4 for me is because I'm not going up into class alpha where the high altitude charts would then be used at 18,000 and above. Okay, so Enroute for in terms of so when discussing Enroute navigation, it's not only important to talk about the network of roads essentially and of air freeways, but who's managing the traffic on these air freeways. Those folks are at the Enroute Traffic Control Center. These are LA Center, Oakland Center, Salt Lake Center, right? Albuquerque Center. These are center controllers, and center controllers, they provide this air traffic control service to aircraft operating IFR and VFR, but usually when you're talking to center, you're probably IFR. You're probably in the flight levels, and you're probably IFR. If you're talking to center and you're not in the flight levels, then you're probably in airspace that isn't as busy, and you're between busy terminal areas. So it is possible to be below, the flight levels and still be talking to Oakland Center. For example, when you're IFR down here, like in my area, you leave SoCal Approach, and you get you continue, let's say, north up the coast, and then SoCal Approach, when you're out of the bounds of the approach controllers, they will hand you off to the center controllers, and they hand you off to LA Center, and you're on with LA Center for a while up the coast, and then LA Center hands you off to Oakland Center as you continue up the coast. And then when you're getting ready to land in Oakland or wherever you're going, Oakland Center hands you off to NorCal Approach, right? So we're talking about these different controllers that manage this traffic as airplanes traverse. So each of these sectors covers thousands of square miles. Like you can see here, these are humongous areas that LA Center is responsible for. Oakland Center is responsible for. These are very much like districts or like provinces, of around the country, and the center controller is based in a certain place that's managing all the traffic in this area. So here we go, expect to be handed off from departure control to a center controller. That's what I was saying. As far as SoCal departure or SoCal approach. Okay, so that's the first thing, is Enroute Traffic Control Center. Let's see. I should talk about TRACON at some point. Let me see here. So I talk about center. I know TRACON I discuss in my clearances, because pretty much there are two main types of controlling facilities when you're flying IFR, and one of them is the Enroute Traffic Control Center, and the other one is the TRACON. terminal terminal radar approach controllers, TRACON. And so the TRACON controllers will be the ones that are managing the traffic up to 10,000 feet in the busy terminal areas. And it will not be center. It will be approach control. It will be, or departure control. Typically you address them as approach control though. So like down here, we've got SoCal approach. There's NorCal approach up there. There's Santa Barbara approach, Point Mugu approach. So yeah, there should be an additional thing here. In addition to Air Route Traffic Control Center is TRACON. And at the end of the day, center controllers are big picture, and they are, this kind of picture, you know what I mean? They're humongous. They're the big picture. TRACON controllers, they are like micromanagers of the busy terminal areas that will hand the traffic en route like off to center. Okay. So what is tower en route control? Let's talk about this method that of navigation, of en route navigation that we've alluded to a couple of times. So first of all, it's an IFR service to aircraft in busy terminal areas, as we've mentioned. It reduces air traffic control and pilot communication requirements because they're able to, let's say that you want to go from San Luis Obispo to Van Nuys, okay? And you're just like a small, like regular, like piston propeller airplane. They don't have to like tell you this whole route. They're able to clear you for the looks like this Santa Barbara November 37. And you can file that on your flight plan, and they can assign that, and then they know that that you're supposed to know that if you accept the Santa Barbara November 37 route, in your clearance, that to fly this route right here at this altitude. So in that regard, they're assuming that you understand, if you filed that and you asked for that you have the information there to execute that. So it does reduce that communication requirement. Generally, these routes are flown below 10,000 feet. And if you're a non-turbojet, there are J routes. J stands for jet. And then boom, there's your altitude right there at 11,000, let's say, or jet at 11,000 here, jet at 11,000 there. And the majority of tower en route control is done within radar coverage, so you are being watched as you're doing this. Very useful for use in flight planning. You got this from and to business here. This is an example of from Lompoc to wherever, to Santa Monica, or basically from these airports to any of these airports. This is your route ID, and this is your routing. So yeah, that's a great question. What are M and P and Q in the altitudes? If J is for jet, what happens? So if you look to the chart supplement, the long story short is M is for turboprop, P is for propellers, piston aircraft that are above 180 knots, and Q is pistons that are below 180 knots. If you go to the chart supplement and you go to the tower en route control section down there, it's usually at the bottom. Tower en route control right there. You'll see there's a legend for the what the nomenclature actually is, and so that's really cool. I'm actually going to keep this up for when we use. Oh, actually, we're going to go to the Wyoming area and use this there. That's right. I had to get my tablet actually. Okay. Yeah, of course. So the name of the route and the detailed description is also right there, and that contains navaids. So like here's San Marcos. The the three letters denote VORs, and airways will be denoted by that Victor. Right, we were just talking about Victor 4, Victor 64. This is Victor 186, Victor 386. 5 letters denotes intersections or fixes. So, you know, what you can do is look up if you have tower, if you're in a busy terminal area and you have tower en route, you're trying to go from A to B that's kind of close by. You can look that up and really chart the whole thing on 4Flight well beforehand. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. You have the altitudes right there, like we said. You got to mind your P's and Q's. And what's the best way? Chris Steve, what's going on? Best way to find and play around with routes like what you're looking at. It's in 4Flight under each airport procedures, or just it's in 4Flight under each airport procedures, or just chart supplement for each airport or area. So yeah, you know what? Let me get my tablet. That's a great question. There are 3 answers to your question on what are the best ways to play with routes, and how do you know like which routes are you know likely to be used. Okay. The first is this way, but not everywhere has tower en route control. So tower en route control, you can definitely look at that in the chart supplement in your area if you live near a Class Bravo airspace. But another way to play around with routes and to know what ATC is likely to assign you, and this goes for the sim as well, is using flightplan.com. Let me see here. Hold on. So flightplan.com, you would just make an account, like it's like a free account. You just sign it, you know, your username and password, email or whatever, and you can go to create flight plan right here and select your IFR or VFR. So Chris Steve, tell me like 2 airports that we should look up real quick. Like from which airport code to which airport code. Let's do it. Let's do it. VUO to HQM. Are you familiar with, that's the fastest I could come up with. That's okay. Are you familiar with flightplan.com already? HQM. Oh, this is fantastic then, especially for IFR, because the question is like, what are you likely going to get in an IFR clearance? Because you're sitting there in the cockpit, there's a lot to copy down, especially when you're first learning your instrument rating. Like your, this is great for you then, since you're going through your instrument rating. When you've got craft, you know, CRAFT is your acronym when you're writing down all your stuff. It's good to know that B-Pain, craft, what up? Exactly, craft. And it's important to anticipate what the R in craft is going to be, what that route's going to be. So it looks like from VUO to HQM, not a lot of flights actually between there, but you will see times issued 1. That was, wow, several months ago. It looks like somewhat recently was BTG. BTG looks like the main VOR. No, no, I mean, you could see it works. It totally works. And ultimately, I was going to show you a third way to do the same thing. Clearance, route, altitude, frequency, talk. Squawk. Frequency is the F and T is for transponder. Is transponder code, actually. But, yeah, that's our local VOR outside of, what is that? PDX. Oh my god, why do I always forget this? Portland. Dang it. It was on the tip of my tongue. Okay. Oh, you know what? I've done some flying in the sim up there. Is that Battleground or something? It's something dope, I think. BTG is Battleground, I believe. Dang, memory, what's up? I don't remember AST, though. Yeah, I did a flight. I was doing like a cross country, like all the way up there, and I did like Eugene to Portland and Olympia, I believe. Astoria, I see. Okay, cool. So anyway, this is really useful. And then let's go to the tablet. Yeah. B-pane. So it's clearance limit, the clearance limit, the route, the altitude, the frequency, and the transponder code. But very, very nice. Talk is the last T in the 5 T's. So maybe you have some interference going on right there with like the checklists and stuff, and like 5 T's versus like craft or like 5 A's. Like there's a lot of different mental checklists going on. Oh yeah. So let's get the tablet going, and we'll be looking at the third method. Looking at ForeFlight, like you said. So we said tower en route. And then ForeFlight, we said this was VUO. Let's actually go to the flight plan. KVUO. And then KHQM. Just start to finish. There's our straight line between those two airports. And what you can go into flight plan and then go to routes. And there are the routes right there. ATC cleared. Now this is like linked up with flightplan.com, I believe. So there's a BTG, AST, WAVLU. And that is what I see as well on Oh, sorry, my bad. We need hold up, my bad. Yep, tablet. Fixing it. Let's do charts. Perfect. So there we go. So there's our straight line right there. And we'll be looking at the routes. So flight plan and then routes. And then boom, BTG, AST, WAVLU, AST, Pugic. So a couple different routes. And it looks like the recommended is actually Maki and Hevel. You can like select which one, and like it'll highlight, you know, which route that is. Looks like I might even file this BTG, this WAVLU over this one, 12,000 feet. You know what I mean? I mean, even though it's more direct, it's like, I don't know. This one looks like you're going through some, maybe what is that? A military, it's like an MOA. Let's see about that. Select the route. Yeah, it looks like the EEL A MOA. You could see there. We'll talk about airspace, you know, later on in the ground, but you could see that blue hash mark right all in here. That brown hat, that's all the EOL MOA. So not a problem. And we'd have to look up what the details were and like how high up it went and everything, but those are three pretty nice ways to get to where you're to know what to expect. All right. So mind your P's and Q's. Unless you're filing point to point on a plan, use route ID in the route portion of the ICAO flight plan. If you look at the, I want to say it's 5-1-9 in the AIM, is the flight plan form, and you'll see there's like a route. There's a route section right there that you can use. It's really simple. You would just file the route ID right there, and then that's what you can expect from ATC. Let me just clear this out. Cool. Oh, there it is right there. So this is the flight plan. There's your route. Okay. So that is Tower Enroute at a glance, how to use it. We'll go through some examples in the sim if we end up doing it from my area, but then again, I remember telling Zach I would do Wyoming, so I don't think he has Tower Enroute up there, but we'll see. Let's talk about some chart symbology, and see if I can put my head back down there. What are some of the symbols that we're going to run into on these airways? All right. So with regard to airway depiction, we've got low altitude, the IFR Enroute low altitude chart. These are the different charts where airways are actually depicted on. And they're depicted a little bit differently depending on which chart you're on. The IFR charts, there are these black, Victor Airways are these black lines versus like TAC charts are light blue. So like you can see now here, like connecting VORs, these Victor 210 or Victor 16, Victor 23, these are solid black lines. You go to the TAC chart, and they are these light blue lines. Right, here's Victor 8, Victor 21, that light blue line coming from the Seal Beach VOR, between the Seal Beach VOR and the Paradise VOR, Victor 8. Or here's Victor 16 coming from Paradise going westbound toward LA. And then, bam, Victor 16 right between Paradise. So that's how they're represented a little bit differently depending on what chart you're looking at. The other thing I'll point out too, they're not all black or this light brown. They could be blue actually as well, and those blue ones are representative of IFR certified GPS routes. We had when did we do RNAV? We did RNAV last month, right? Yeah, we did RNAV last month, and when we talked about RNAV, we were talking about the technical standard order, the TSO 145A and 146A. That is the technical standard order that defined what is an IFR certified GPS. That's why you've got that specified right there. So yeah, we got airways, we've got RNAV airways. It also shows the limits of controlled airspace. That's a knowledge test question. The limits of controlled airspace are shown in this blue outlined light blue area. What you're looking at is the total outline of Bravo and Charlie airspace together. So dotted, you'll notice that this line in the top here, at the top is like dotted blue. Normally on a VFR chart, we're used to seeing dotted blue means delta, right? No. Dotted blue in this case is class Charlie, and solid blue is class Bravo. So here's more dotted blue right here. That's Ontario, Charlie. This dotted blue down here in the bottom right corner is John Wayne, Charlie. But all of the rest is class Bravo, solid blue. So it does actually show the limits of controlled airspace. Not class Delta, though. It doesn't show class Delta. I want to say white is... I'm like blanking on this. I want to say white is even airspace, that it's like alpha, I believe. Like where alpha is. I'll have to like get back to you on I believe the white is something as well. So it shows airways. It shows different types of routes, like the Victor Airway or the GPS Airways. Shows limits of controlled airspace. Also shows you where the nav aids are pretty clearly. Really, when you're IFR, you're just looking at, all of the a lot of the symbols go away, because you're just, as long as you're at your minimum altitude or above, you have clearance from terrain. Only on low on IFR area charts are there terrain depicted. Is there terrain depicted? That would be another type of IFR chart, actually, that I don't think I mentioned. But there's the area charts are a low altitude terminal area type chart that describe all of the IFR, all of the airways in the Bravo area. So that's why it's called the area chart. These area charts are around all the class Bravo airspaces in the country. So in that regard, the area charts are very much like the TAC charts. In terms of IFR and VFR comparison, your TAC chart is very like pulled in close to the class Bravo and not a lot of space outside of it. But your sectional chart, on the other hand, is very pulled out and covers a wide range of wide field of view. The TAC chart is close in, sectional is more pulled out. So too is the area, is the IFR version. The area chart is pulled into the class Bravo areas, and then the low altitudes and high altitudes, but the low altitudes are all like sectionals, basically. They're all pulled out. So that in either case, you're going to see nav aids on them, and that's pretty cool. Airports with instrument approaches or a minimum of 3,000 foot hard surface runways are also depicted. It's what you need to do. First of all, what you should do is go look at a particular route that you're interested in flying, and then have out the aeronautical chart user's guide that you can download for free from the FAA website. It's a booklet that you can also buy in a pilot shop that has all the chart symbols on it for VFR and IFR charts and terminal approach procedures or departure procedures. So that's really useful. And what you'll find in that chart or aeronautical chart user's guide, is descriptions of what these colors and shapes mean. So like here you see these are airports, and they have color and a shape to them. So the shape is pretty straightforward. This shape is a civil airport with it's like a bullseye with like one singular tick marks, or it's like a circle with tick marks. Civil military joint, like a joint use, is a bullseye with the crosshairs right there. Straight military is just bullseye only, and then heliport is there. So that's what the shapes mean. But what the colors mean, it can be a little more confusing. So like the brown, the colors refer to where you will find an instrument, the terminal procedures for that airport. If it has an approach. So brown tells you that there is no approach there. There is no instrument approach there. Blue and green, these airports have instrument approaches, but it's about the question between, or the differentiation between blue and green is what publication you can find that approach in. So in the blue is both the Department of Defense has a publication for their airports and their terminal procedures, as well as in the terminal procedures. I believe it's in both Department of Defense and FAA terminal procedures, whereas the green is just terminal procedures only. So I believe that's the way that it is. But yeah, the colors refer to where you can actually find the approach, the terminal procedures, whereas brown tells you that there are no procedures at all. We've got what's called the OROCA, the off-route obstacle clearance altitude. This is an example of where the OROCA would be 12,500 feet. Let's take a look at an example. There's an example right there. Out there over the water, over at Patter, the OROCA is 4,500 feet. And what the OROCA is saying is, in order for you to have the required clearance requirements, if you are off route and you do not have an assigned altitude, or you don't have, it's not clear what altitude you need to be at while you figure out where you're at, 4,500 feet is the altitude to be at to clear all of the different types of terrain in this humongous area. Here's an example of 10,600 foot OROCA, off-route obstacle clearance altitude, OROCA. There are mountains over there. That's why. Where's that 10,000 foot? $10,006. Here's a good one. Here's a 13,000 foot one. 13,000 foot OROCA is because we've got a humongous mountain right here. We've got a 10,000, almost 11,000 foot tall mountain. So you can see here that when you are at 13,000 feet, you've got pretty much 2,000 foot clearance in the highest obstacle in this area, which is that clearance requirement for mountainous areas is 2,000 foot clearance. This OROCA is different from the maximum elevation figure right here, the MEF. Different. Fundamentally different, what they're telling you. They look similar, but they are not. Don't go saying that this number is the IFR version of the MEF. That is not the case. First of all, this offers you a lot less protection. Okay. Secondly, the MEF is telling you specifically in this quadrant right here, that somewhere in that quadrant there is a mountain peak that you need to be aware of, that if you're flying in this area, you're going to need to be at or above that altitude to clear that obstacle. It doesn't mean that you have to be at that altitude when you're in that quadrant. What they're saying is because, right, if you're in this quadrant over this green area right here where it's 2,000 feet of elevation, you don't need to be 6,900 feet because the MEF tells you. What they're saying is somewhere in here where, and so your question is where is the mountain peak? The mountain peak is right there. That gives you, a nice buffer. 7,000 feet gives you a nice buffer if you're directly over that mountain peak. It's not telling you what altitude you need to be at if you're in that zone. It's a warning like, hey, there's something in here that if your route takes you over that peak, it will necessitate that you are at or above that altitude. Whereas with the OROCA, that is the altitude that if you're lost in this area and you are off route and you are lost communications and you have no radio, and again, you're not, this is in a lost communication situation where you can't see outside. We'll talk about regulations another time, but you do need to be at this altitude, if as long as this is the highest. What you need to be is at the highest altitude of, you know, your minimum IFR altitude, your assigned, or your or your MEA, right? So your minimum en route altitude, your expected altitude, or your assigned altitude. And if you're off airway, and these airways, right, have these altitudes that are prescribed for the airway, if you're off airway and you're like, well, what's my minimum altitude? If I'm supposed to be 9,000 feet, but I'm on that airway, but I'm not on that airway, dude, like, what's my minimum altitude? That is your minimum IFR altitude. Then if you're lost comm and you are off route, boom, that's your highest altitude. So you climb up to 13,000 feet immediately, and you know that you're safe, you're above the mountains, and you can kind of assess where you're at and get back to, maybe get back onto the airway or whatever your plan is. Okay, so those are fundamentally different, the OROCA versus the MEA, or I'm sorry, the MEF. We've got reporting points. We're colloquially like it's a colloquialism, I think, between pilots and aviation, that we call these intersections, right? These triangles are often referred to as intersections. I know I've referred to them. These, Baldy, Happy, Hemet. These triangles right here. These are intersections. Corla, yeah, they are. But first of all, it's possible to have these points not be intersections. They could be defined by DME. So technically, that's not even true even in that case. But they're really reporting points, according to the chart symbology from the FAA and the Aeronautical Chart Users Guide. The triangles are going to either be filled in or open, right? They're either going to be filled in or open, and these filled in triangles are compulsory reporting points. These compulsory reporting points where if not in radar contact, you need to report these points. All right. And if in radar contact, it's not necessary to report your points. And then non-filled in, these not filled in triangles are non-compulsory reporting position reports points, not required. What does a position report sound like? What are the parts of the what are the parts of that transmission? We're going to talk about that at the end, at the reporting procedures when flying en route. So, Christeve, so can you patch together your own route of fixes for an IFR flight that isn't a pre-recommended route on an airway, or is that just making things difficult for everyone? No, you can do that. Flightplan.com and ForeFlight, they are really helpful for determining what you're likely to get. Even if you file something, you're kind of asking them, hey, can I go this way? And if they give you something else because of they're not able to accommodate, then that's something else. You can always ask. But you can file your own thing, and they'll usually accommodate. And there you go, dude. There you go. Yeah. Good question. Special use airspace. We were looking at that route from Christeve. Yeah, definitely. People do get different than filed. So like that's probably going to be at a busier airport, or at least be in an area where there's a lot of traffic en route or something, and it's just you're unable to accommodate. Maybe there are limitations to the VORs that are in service that would prohibit or render like an airway unusable or something, and so you can't go that way. And ultimately, the controller's trying to reduce their workload too. So if there's a preferred route you know, they'll probably just give that to you. But most things are negotiable, you know. Another example of this would be like, I tried to get the a standard instrument departure from a clearance delivery in a busy airspace out here in Van Nuys. And they didn't give it to me. They instead issued the obstacle departure procedure with the tower en route control. And just because it was better for the traffic situation. So I was like, oh, okay. And then that's when you just take your procedure out, and you did get something different. But you can always ask. Special use airspace, like we said with Christie's route between those two airports, took us in the middle of an MOA. Presumably, it might have been over it, you know, depending on how high up it was and everything. But by the way, you know, I mean, when you're IFR, you're cleared through these airspaces, and when you're IFR, it's totally different. So you're cleared through them, no problem. You're normally cleared through an MOA anyways. Like, you're normally an MOA, you need to not talk to anybody necessarily. You kind of want to. You want to, like, you know what the controlling tower or what the controlling agency frequency is. You know, you want to have pre-flight plan that, but yeah, legally speaking, you don't have to talk to anybody to go through a military operating area. But nonetheless, that is how they're represented on the charts. Military training routes are represented as these, like, kind of tan things there. You have IR and VR, depending on whether the traffic is designated to be in visual conditions or in instrument conditions. And the digits will be representative of the altitudes. So, yeah, three digits versus 4 digits. Also, these are 5 miles or less, both sides of the center line. So, I mean, pretty much you just want to be kind of conscientious, like when flight planning, and especially if you are charting your own route, just to know like where the military training routes are, and to try and avoid them if you can, or at least, you know, cross them at a 90-degree angle, so you're just, you know, you're out of the way and stuff. And yeah, these are going to be fast-moving traffic. All right, so airways are defined on the outbound radial from the nav aid, and like, so there's an example of like the 275 radial or the 216 radial. Victor 308 is on the 375 radial from Waterloo. These are distances in terms of nautical miles. Those are between between fixes. So you can see here there's a distance between the VOR and Laughlin, the reporting point at Laughlin. There's 14 miles between the VOR and that first fix. From Laughlin to the next fix right here, whatever that is 21 miles. These altitudes are called MEAs, and this is an example of the MEA on the Victor Airway. 2,000 feet, not the star altitude, but this is a minimum en route altitude. This is the minimum altitude on the airway that you must be to have that 2,000 foot clearance or 1,000 foot clearance, depending on if you're in mountainous or non-mountainous areas. 2,000 foot in my area of the country, it's a mountain, or you know, Christie, if you're up there near Portland, 2,000 foot clearance above the above terrain, 4 miles either side of the airway. So that's what MEAs allow you to do. This 4,000 foot G, that's a GPS MEA. If you're on this using an IFR certified GPS, you can be lower. Changeover points are symbolized as this S, and these digits above and below are the distances from that point to the next VOR along that segment. So let's see here. Well, I don't see an example there, but we'll take a look at the chart here. So here's an example. There's a changeover point between Seal Beach and Palm Springs. This long airway right here, Victor 64. That is a changeover point right there at Hemet, the Hemet intersection. There is what is this? Bands. There's a changeover point here at Bands between Riverside, or excuse me, Paradise VOR and Palm Springs VOR. That changeover point right there. 34 miles to Paradise. And then notice there's no number right here at the top. That Bands is 21 DME from Palm Springs. So there you go. That's symbolized right there. 21 is the difference. So there you go. There's another example here between what is that? Palmdale and Palm Springs. So these changeover points are the points at which you need to change primary VORs to the next VOR that you're using. Like we said, off route, the Oroka provides that type of clearance, and does not necessarily provide signal coverage from nav aids or communication. This is an emergency situation only, where you are lost comm, you are off airway, off route, and you need to get to where you're going safely. So, and you need to not hit something, and you are not in communication with ATC on minimum vectoring altitudes or something like that. So but the main thing is that it does not guarantee signal coverage from nav. You would think, well, if the Oroka is the highest, wouldn't it give you the most amount of coverage, or wouldn't it be great for communication? Not necessarily. I mean, being higher is better for those things, but all this is saying is that you are going to clear the mountains at a minimum clearance of 2,000 feet. So those mountains may still be in the way for radio reception or whatever. They're just not guaranteeing that. The only thing that the Oroka is guaranteeing is that you won't hit those mountains. The MoCA, right, that 2,000 feet right here was the MEA, but the MoCA is right here with the star. You don't always have star, you don't always have MoCAs. What the MoCA is what that's saying is if you are within 22 nautical miles of the VOR, you actually can go lower than an MEA. So the rule is you are not allowed to descend below an MEA unless a MoCA is prescribed. In which time, if you're within 22 miles of that VOR, then yes, you are permitted to go below your MEA down to a MoCA. That also is used in an emergency situation. Let's say that you're picking up ice and at your MEA, and you need to get lower. That if there's a MoCA there, that you can go down to the MoCA, get out of the icing, and go down to the MoCA, and you're still afforded the same terrain, obstacle clearance. So then why have an MEA? Well, remember, the MoCA is only within 22 nautical miles of the VOR, and an MEA is good for the whole airway. So, there you go. The MoCA is used in a very limited range from the VOR. And typically is used for emergencies anyways. You tend to want to be at or above the MEA anyways. But the MoCA, if I didn't say it already explicitly, the MoCA provides you with that same clearance. And what the MoCA, practically speaking, what it's saying is hey, look, you need to be 2,000 feet on this airway, okay, to in general to to be afforded that minimum obstacle clearance. But I'll make you a deal. As long as you're close to this VOR, within 22 miles of this VOR, then you can, as long as you're within that limited range, then yes, you can go down like more. So continuing our discussion of the different types of airway, of altitudes, right? We've got the OROCA, we've got the MOCA, we've got the MEA. We also have the MCA, the minimum crossing altitude, denoted by this flag with a cross right here, crossing altitude. And what the minimum crossing altitude is, normally what's the rule on climbing? What's the rule on crossing a point beyond which a higher MEA applies? The rule is that you can begin your climb. You can begin your climb to a higher MEA at the point beyond which that higher MEA is required. So what that means is, like, you can, if there's a point and beyond that point there's a higher MEA that's required, you can start climbing at that point. Now, what's the rule at the minimum crossing altitude? The minimum crossing altitude is not that way. That what they're saying is you need to be at a higher altitude as you're crossing over that point. You cannot start your climb at your MCA. You need to be at that new altitude, at that higher altitude, at your minimum crossing altitude point. An example of a minimum crossing altitude point is right here, actually. You can see here that the Placerville VOR is a minimum crossing altitude, an MCA point. And the minimum crossing altitude, if you're on Victor 388 northeast, it's 7,000 feet. Let's look at some more minimum crossing altitudes. Let's see here. Here's let's see. I know there's Yucca right there. Yeah, Yucca is one. Okay, so Yucca, let's say that you're going from 29 Palms to Yucca, and then beyond, you're continuing westbound on 264. Okay, the minimum en route altitude on Victor 264 from 29 Palms to Yucca is 8,500 feet. And if you're within 22 miles of that VOR, then you can actually be at 7,700 and still be afforded that obstacle clearance. It's a 37-mile leg between the VOR and Yucca, but there's a change in MEA at Yucca. You could see here that at one point it's 8,500, and then at beyond Yucca it's 13,500. That's a big jump, dude. What can we assume is the reason for that big jump in MEA? Terrain. Absolutely. It takes you directly over the mountain peak of the highest mountain actually in this whole area. This 11,000, almost 11,500 foot peak. Right over that point right there. All right. So what are we going to do about that? Well, that is a big jump. And it's actually too big of a jump. It's too big of a jump for aircraft to meet that new MEA if they are only climbing at 200 feet per nautical mile. Remember, that was a standard climb gradient for when we were discussing departure procedures. The assumed minimum climb gradient is 200 feet per nautical mile. So what the designers have said is, since that an aircraft staying at 8,500 feet passing Yucca will not reach 13,500 in time to meet the obstacle clearance requirements of that mountain peak, they won't make it in time if they're doing 200 feet per nautical mile. So what they're going to do is institute a minimum crossing altitude at Yucca to say your starting point between Yucca and 13.5 is not going to be 8,500 feet. It's going to be 12,000 feet. And that if your starting point is at 12,000 feet at Yucca and you're westbound on 264, that at 200 feet per nautical mile, you will reach 13.5 in time for the minimum obstacle clearance requirements, that 2,000 foot minimum obstacle clearance requirement, that you will do that. So that's the purpose of the minimum crossing altitude, to understand not only, yes, it's the, let's see here, will the avionics, will this, let me just, oh yeah, so we don't just want to know about the symbols and be like, oh, that's a minimum crossing altitude, that's an MEA, that's it. We want to know why they're there, when to use them, and how to use them. We need to be at Yucca at 12,000 feet so that so that if we are climbing at a minimum of 200 feet per nautical mile, which we'll probably climb better, maybe not though, right? A lot of the service ceilings of regular aircraft are like 12, like 13,000 feet. You are not climbing readily. Christophe, you are, right, in that turbo 182, but most normally aspirated airplanes are not doing that. So, your climb performance, not good up there. 50, 100 feet a minute. All right, you need to be aware of your aircraft performance when on an airway at these high MEAs, big time. What's the temperature outside? It's been really warm, warmer than standard. Guarantee you that that's a 15,000 foot density altitude, or at least 14, right? So anyway, yeah, that's the purpose of a minimum crossing altitude point. Yeah, will the avionics with this route in it in it warn you to start climbing, or is it on the pilot to be looking at the route and map? Depends on what type of, first of all, your avionics will not tell you that, but what you will, well, it depends on what kind of avionics you have, actually, because I know that in the G1000, I'm pretty sure as you load an airway, like officially loading an airway with all the fixes and all that stuff, that I want to say it does give you altitudes. Does it? It's a good question. But it is up to the pilot, though. The short answer is it is up to the pilot to know. Now, what's gonna likely happen, though, is the controllers are not gonna leave it to chance, and instead, what's gonna happen is they will clear the traffic controllers will clear you to they're gonna know what route that they just assigned you to your clearance limit, and your overall cruise altitude to expect will probably be at or above the highest MEA along that whole route, and they're just going to cut to the chase and have you get up there. You know what I mean? So if you are cruising along and you're at 9,000 feet, yeah, it will be on you, though, to be like requesting an altitude change to ATC to meet that. And then what you want to do is like know your climb performance, and you need to know if you are at whatever altitude out here, like you should know like how long it's going to take you to get up there and start your climb nice and early. All right, no problem. So MCA is very, very important. Minimum reception altitude. Same type of thing. It's a flag, but with an R instead of a cross. The minimum altitude to receive all NavAid reception, all VOR reception in the area. And so the minimum reception altitude, you are not required to be at the minimum reception altitude. Depends on what airway you're on. Like, here's an example, okay? Let's go up to the north right here. Minimum reception altitude. There we go. Okay, so the MEA is let's say that you are westbound on 386, okay? And you're over here at Fillmore VOR, and you're westbound on 386. You're coming up to Ojai. Ojai is has a minimum reception altitude at 9,000, and you're over here at 8,000. See that 8,000 foot MEA right there? 22-mile stretch. Okay. You are not required to be at 9,000 feet to pick up, because you're not over here trying this airway. This is for the reception of all of the different VORs that would give you Ojai. But you can identify Ojai in a lot of different ways. There's a 22 DME from Fillmore, 23 DME from Ventura. You got the 311 from Ventura. So yeah, I mean, if you want to make a right and go on Victor 485 to, what is that, Fellows, then yeah, you would cross Ojai, or you want to be at Ojai at 9,000 if you want to switch over to Fellows right away, or you could just stay on Ventura and climb to 9,000 feet, because it's a 9,000 foot MEA. It's a higher MEA, so there's the new point at which a higher MEA is required. Climb that point, or start your climb at that point, climb up to 9,000, and then switch over to Fellows VOR. Once you're actually, if the minimum reception altitude is 9,000, you're probably not going to get Fellows unless you're at 9,000 minimum. That's what that means. The other thing too is you'll notice that there's no changeover point. There's no changeover point between Ventura right here and Fellows. This is not the changeover point. That's for these VORs. What is that? Shafter and San Marcos. So where there is not a changeover point, you change, the custom is to change over halfway between them. Okay? So there's your minimum reception altitude. Okay, and then IFR Enroute reporting procedures. So in a non-radar environment, let's see here, non-radar position reports. So yes, so in a non-radar environment, let's see here. So you are reporting your position if radar contact is lost or radar service is terminated. That is when you are reporting compulsory reporting points. You are position reporting at compulsory points where they're filled in. So non-radar position reports are done if you have lost radar contact. Also, you're done whether you're non-radar or in a radar environment. You're reporting your position over VORs, in particular where well, I was going to say when you're holding over VORs, but you can actually hold at fixes as well, and then you report the holding fix in addition. So, like, you're reporting VORs, and you're also reporting entering and holding, or entering and exiting a holding pattern. And, yeah, compulsory reporting points. Radar environment position reports, you are in radar contact, no position reporting is necessary. These are the items that you just want to maybe jot down in your notes. These are the items that you want included in a position report. Your aircraft ID, your position, your time the current time, and then your ETA to your next point. You're reporting any altitudes that you're whenever you're vacating an assigned altitude. That's a position. That's a report that you're making. Times are in Zulu. Times are in Zulu. Yeah. So yeah, just know you're, you know, you guys are 7 right now. Yeah. Another reporting item that you are obligated to make is if you're unable to climb or descend 500 feet per minute, you're reporting anytime you're executing a missed approach. For the true airspeed, anytime your true airspeed is, in particular faster than what you filed, you need to let them know. I wouldn't overthink the true airspeed thing. Just if you're flying faster than you told them that you would, just let them know that. They need to know that for spacing aircraft out. Like I said, whenever you're leaving the holding fixed, actually whenever you're arriving at a holding fix as well. Any loss of navigation equipment needs to be reported, and then anything else concerning the safety of flight is to be reported, okay? So that's it for en route procedures, pretty quick. And I'm going to leave that flightplan.com up, actually, as we look to do some IFR flying and look at the en route charts in the sim. I remember Zach saying Jackson Hole, yeah. DIJ. So what do we got here? Yeah, Marvelous VFR. Marvelous VFR is a good acronym for knowing your position. There's all these acronyms for all your different reports that you have to make. The other way to do it is in a non-radar environment. It's coffee, and then all the time is Acme wash. So yeah, let me see here. I'm gonna pull that up. I believe that's in my regs. Let's see. Ian Chris Steve. Marvelous VFR today. Alright. Yeah, so grab card. Hold up. Yeah, so 91-183 is the regulation. And safety of flight, right? All the time is Acme wash. So altitude changes, climb performance unable, 500 feet per minute, missed approach, equipment malfunction, unforecasted weather, that true airspeed difference, safety of flight and holding, leaving or entering. Whereas with non-radar, not in radar contact, you're doing those things plus coffee. So compulsory reporting points, the outer marker, final approach fixes that define a route, and ETA changes of 2 minutes or greater. So yeah, Acme wash is all the time, and then not in radar contact, compulsory reporting points. So, but marvelous VFR sounds more marvelous, darling. All right, so let's go from let's like do some airport hopping maybe. So I'm thinking Jackson Hole, simply marvelous. So maybe from Jackson Hole to Idaho Falls. What do they have? They have an ILS runway. What are they actually landing right now? 200 at 5. So definitely down to 21. Perfect. Let's do that ILS 21. So we need to get to... Oh, interesting. Yeah, so we get to Idaho Falls, make the turn outbound, and then what on that 01 or 206? Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. That's awesome. So we'll do the ILS. Let's do that. KJAC, and then there's like a NOTAM. I wonder what it says. And then Idaho Falls, KIDA. One error. Cruise altitude below. Okay, cool. We'll fix that. Do you see any reason to go above 18,000? The service ceiling of the 182 is 20,000. I thought it was like 22,000. Or am I thinking of the absolute ceiling, actually? But it seems easier to just leave the big guns alone up there. Yeah, I thought it was like 22 or 20. I mean, you're not, I mean, it's somewhere up there, right? It's definitely up in alpha for sure, no matter whether it's 22 or 20 or whatever. Dude, take it up in alpha, dude. You kidding me? I say go for it. Now, I don't see a practical reason to go do that, like, other than for the experience. Like, go with your instructor, you know, hook up that oxygen and get up there, man. You know, file IFR. Now, sometimes the MEA, like, is, oh, well, I guess, you know, the MEA wouldn't be, yeah, that high if you're low altitude, right? You're below 18,000. So, yeah, it's probably not necessary, but what you would do is just track an airway and just be cleared to a higher altitude. And you're probably IFR already, but if you're not, then, you know, you would just get an IFR clearance, go into alpha, and it's your instructor's current, so it's all good. So let's take a look at what's going on here. So what I'm thinking is we go from Jackson Hole to Idaho Falls. It's going to be a really nice quick flight. Now, actually, Jackson will have to look at what the departure procedure actually is for Jackson Hole. Oh, what's it? Damn. Is it called Jackson? Yeah, right there. Okay, cool. What's the departure procedure for Jackson Hole? For runway 19. Use the Teton departure. Okay, cool. Meanwhile, actually, what was the wind over at Jackson Hole? 260 at 7, gusting 18. So then let's look at the Teton 3 obstacle departure procedure. It looks like we're catching a 192 from Jackson, just tracking outbound on that 192 to Kickney, standard with a minimum climb of 335 feet per nautical mile to 14,000, or 4,403. So, dude, I don't have my, hold up, let me try and see if I can find my 182, because I know in my X-Plane I don't have, I had to reinstall it, so really quick, Let me see my... (182X plane). Let me see if I can find it in my email. Oh, you know what? I bet I can just go back to Carinado. Cool. X-Plane is a different program than Microsoft Flight Sim, right? Do you have a preference? Yeah, my preference definitely is X-Plane for the flight dynamics for sure. But the visuals of Microsoft Flight Sim are unparalleled. But yeah, for flight dynamics wise, you can't beat X-Plane. And when you're doing your instrument training, that's kind of what matters, because like the movement of the needles and everything, like on the different instruments, you're trying to get a good scan going, like that's what matters. And you can't see outside anyways. Okay, so there's the 182, which gives you the live radio comms. I have Pilot Edge for both actually. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get that. Private. Yeah, why do I have two of these for X-Plane? I wonder if it's... I don't know. I guess it's that one. Okay, cool. Downloads. Let's do the... Oh, that's right. I used to have the 182 RG, but yeah, the turbo... Oh, the X-Plane 11. That's right. Okay. So there's ATC folks out there using Pilot Edge for their training and proficiency as well. Yeah, totally, dude. There are some that they are paid by Pilot Edge, I believe, but they are like they're all professional, and they're all experienced, but I think they have different levels of experience. I actually don't know exactly, but I do know that they are kicking ass. Okay, so here is the... Let's go to the downloads, and then we're going to unzip and extract to the folder here. Go into X-Plane, and then I want to say it's custom... Oh, no, that's right, aircraft. Right? I think I just drop it in the custom. It's been so long. I think it's just in aircraft. And then folder. All right, cool. This should work. And then we'll just do the... dude, I've been wanting to like re-download and reinstall my 182 for X-Plane anyways. It was like behaving super weird recently. Okay. So we will do that. Sweet. So it should be in there. Let's take a look. X-Plane, aircraft. Boom, 182 turbo G1000. What up? All right, sweet. Sweet airplane, dude. B-Pain, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it so much. And you know what? You've been around here for like a while, man. I really appreciate you like coming by and like your input and everything. And I really appreciate you dropping that sub and for your participation, man. Really cool. By the way, my OBS has been giving me weird notifications about my alert sounds. You guys heard the sound as well, right? It was like doo-ga-doo-ga-doon. Right? Or was it just the thing that you saw? Iowa, what's going on? Yeah, you got a sound? Okay, cool, Chris Steve. Iowa, you're just in time. Feel free to like go back to the I'm gonna hook up my stuff actually right now while we talk. Feel free to go back after oh, dude, thank you so much. Yeah, and I really appreciate the sub as well because honestly, like, I put it together myself, like, all this stuff. I was the chief ground instructor at my previous flight school, and so teaching on, I taught on Zoom, and at one point I had like 200 students in my class at the same time. I'm like, whoa. And so that was really hard because, you know, you make mistakes. And so I'm like, shit, that's like a lot of people, you know? So doesn't matter though. Like, you make a mistake, you got to go to all of those people the next day and be like, listen, I remember saying this and like, this isn't the, I looked at it myself. I like checked myself. It didn't sound right at the time. And it turns out that this is actually the case. So, you know, and you just got to be humble, you know? But, great experience. Anyway, point is I put this material together for that class, and I would do the instrument rating start to finish. One thing that I want to, dude, I want to show you guys. One thing I want to do actually is for the private pilot stuff is a special aerodynamics lecture where and I put this together. I was a guest speaker in a ground school like that my buddy was doing for private pilot. I was doing the instrument rating, and he had me come in and do like a fun like themed aerodynamics lecture. And so what I did was I gave the standard aerodynamics first that we all went through, and then I did a Star Wars themed like awesome one where it was, I put this thing together way too much, like I worked way too hard on it for like the you know, for the it was just supposed to be something like impromptu and fun, but I went all out. And I want to do this lecture for you guys. It's called Revenge of the Lift. And it's a ton of copyrighted whatever stuff, but it's all good. So we talk about the lift characteristics, of certain Star Wars ships. And just like, we'll be like reviewing, you know, lift and stuff like that. But then we look at the certain characteristics like aerodynamic issues when with regard to Star Wars spaceships. Obviously, you know, not as they're flying through space, but, you know, we look at like ground effect. We look at the X-wing and drag and ground effect, and wing design, delta shaped or whatever, and looking at the ribs and the stringers right here that you see. I mean, this looks like a legit cross section like of a wing, you know, or a cutout of a wing. And you know, somebody mentioned drag, you know, the other day, different kinds of drag. But it's cool, man. You know, when we're looking at like you know, induced drag, like these are like the wingtip vortices, or like, you know, the high pressure underneath and everything. I mean, somebody actually did a legit computational like aerodynamics analysis of models of some of the Star Wars ships, and determined how aerodynamic they actually were, and submitted it to Pop Mechanics in 2018. I actually found a source that showed how aerodynamic these ships were. I couldn't believe it when I was like putting this thing together, and I found a GIF of the thing, dude. So yeah, looking at, and then what I'll do is like, we'll talk about like some of the intersections of ships like having, in, you know, fictitious like spaceships having like characteristics of actual thing, like of actual aircraft. You know, you got the biplane right here with the ton of drag, you know, a great deal of lift, a lot of parasitic drag going on, aircraft in ground effect. So yeah, anyway, point is I really appreciate you guys like subscribing, and you know, I appreciate you appreciating the work that like I put into like making it, I don't know, to bringing the information to you, making it fun. So yeah, we're gonna make this flight from Jackson Hole to Iowa. What is it? Idaho Falls, and we're gonna do it IFR with ATC, and I'm gonna try and like manage the sound so there's not a lot of. I need you guys to tell me if you hear any echoing from ATC. And since I adjusted it, you know, I adjusted the sound. Hopefully you don't find any. Hopefully you don't hear any echo. But that like sucked, dude. Like when I was going back, I went back to my recording to see how it went, and yeah, echoes were really bad. So I'm imagining we're gonna land at Idaho Falls, and actually do another flight, IFR flight, from Idaho Falls to somewhere. I'm imagining southbound on the... Or I could even do it, dude, we could just go to a different place altogether. Chris Steve, if you want to do... We could stay in the 182. And at that time, we maybe have time. You know, I have that student at 3, that pre-solo student. If there's time... we can do a flight, an IFR flight around you. Okay. Now with this, it's hat time, baby. Oops. Oops. All right. And we'll do... Let's get the music going, dude. Cool, there we go. Awesome. Okay, so we'll put that away, and then we got that. Oh yeah, and then we'll plug this in, and then we're good. Airplane has been downloaded and loaded in. Oh yeah, we gotta get that. All right. I'm gonna go pilot edge. X-plane, we file it this way. Cool, so that's ready to go. Sweet. All right, fingers crossed. There's the 182. All right. Very cool. Start with the engine running. Let's not do that. And then we're gonna bring fuel. There's our 2 people, and then we're gonna do like 4 hours of fuel. Chris Steve, how about that that useful load in the 182, dude? How about that max gross weight? I'm looking so B-Pain, I'm looking at Pilot Edge. It seems like they only cover West Coast. I'm located in Atlanta. Is there anything similar on the East Coast? VATSIM, absolutely. Peter Mooney, VATSIM. There you go. It's better than nothing. You know, I think Pilot Edge, I don't know. They're both good, but I would go Pilot. I am on Team Pilot Edge personally. So, but VATSIM's cool. From what I've seen, I actually haven't used VATSIM, so. Yeah, very cool, Peter. Jackson Hole. Customize that weather, dude. Let's go clouds. Let's go clouds at 700 feet. And we'll get rid of the wind. We know we can deal with that later. We'll go stratus, just straight up, not any. Actually, let's do maybe some broken, you know what I mean? There we go. And then visibility 2. Precipitation, a little bit of precipitation. Actually, let's do none. Temperature. Cool. And how's the music, you guys? Is it like not? Hopefully not too loud. So you guys, from last night, I finished my the video that I was working on for Instagram with that multi-engine, and it was really cool because I was the video is about the importance of envisioning what we're doing. Oh, serial number. Ah, oops. Okay. I think I need wrong one. I think I got the wrong. Need to grab it from the Carinado website. Oh my gosh, and like, why am I on the runway, dude? Of course, Carinado is not, for some reason, the website isn't working right now. That's weird. Let me try this. Huh. I guess I need to clear cookies. Allow. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna go to my account. And yeah, okay, gotcha. Copy that bad boy right there. All right, we'll try this one. Bam! Okay, cool. Please reload aircraft. Okay, cool. Oh, did I not? Okay, cool. Glad that worked out. All right, we have the tablet is working. And we're just waiting for the sim to load up. All right, cool. We have the game capture. Any recommendations? So PE, paid employees, set schedule, VATSIM. Oh, Pilot Edge, paid employees, set schedule, VATSIM, volunteer coverage wherever volunteers volunteer. Oh, that's pretty cool. Pros and cons, you know, B-Pain. Any recommendations for flight simulation equipment? I have my commercial rotary and PPL. Dang, no way. Oh, wow. I always wondered about helicopters with one arm. Trying to move forward with getting my, rotor ATP. Damn! Little bad arse. Yeah, dude, you can't go wrong, man. I like the CH products. CH Products Flight Sim, it's yoke and the pedals. It's really like low cost and pretty good quality, I'd say. But some people like the to go big, you know, they like honeycomb stuff or something like that. I don't know, what do you guys think? What's your recommendation? All right, sweet. Okay, so we're going to go mix full rich, prop forward, and we're gonna go master on, fuel pump on. We hear it, we see it, fuel pump off. All right, we've got pressure. And actually, yeah, we need to lean that for sure. was wondering why that RPM was so low. Oh, dude, this is mixed as well. Oh my god, no wonder. Jesus, monkey. All right, here we go. I'm like, that RPM is crazy low. There we go, dudes. Gee willikers. All right, cool. Okay, and then let's get our we've got temperature, pressure, taxi. We've got beacon, strobe. Cowl flaps are open for the taxi. We're trimmed. Flaps for takeoff. Whoa, we have somebody who didn't give an F that we were right here. And okay. And then we will get routes. Select a route. And right now I'm just doing this here. So I just put that route. There's that Teton 3 obstacle departure procedure. We've got the procedures into actually see if we can turn us around. See if I could expand that field of view a little bit. That's pretty nice. Okay, cool. And then for the approach, we're doing the ILS runway 21 from Idaho Falls. We'll go ahead and do that. And then when we get our clearance, we'll look at some of the chart symbology along the way. Then again, we're actually not really on any airways. So, I wonder if it would be better to go to Pocatello down there instead. You know, I think Pocatello might actually be better. Let's look at hide that, and we'll get rid of this. KJAC, and then what is that? PIH, KPIH, routes. That looks pretty good, actually. The Alpine 2, and then Kickney. 12,000. No, we're still not on an airway though. I wonder if I could just file. That doesn't really do us much good. That doesn't do us much good either. Yeah, I'm just trying to find a good route in this area, like for airways. because that's the whole point. I want to be able to IDA Vortac down to PIH. Yeah, that's what I was thinking is we file and basically we just file Victor 330 to IDA and then Pocatello, like, and then that way we actually do that. So this is what I'm saying is let me pause this here. We go IFR 756 Foxtrot Zulu. We're 182 slant golf equipment. We're gonna be doing 140 true, probably 100. Actually, no, we're gonna be doing 160 true, most likely. Departing JAC. Arriving at Pocatello, PIH. And that's going to be at and we're going to be IDH, and then from there we're probably going to be to this, and then procedures into ILS runway 21. Oh, interesting. From Fallow, we could do it from Fallow. That'll work. Maybe from there. Fallow. Yeah, it's a. Saw the sub plans. However, I'm located in Atlanta, so it shouldn't be doing. It's alright. I think that'll work. Fallow will work. And we'll be doing the ILS, not circling. So from Fallow, this is like an interesting one. So it's a feeder. Yeah, pretty much will be vectors to final. Actually, you know what? Let's do it from IDA, from IDA. Procedure, approach. This from. Yeah, there you go. That looks way cleaner. So that way we get some airway stuff right there. And what we'll do is we'll actually depart VFR and then pick up IFR en route. So that weather needs to be better at our destination or our departure airport. And that MEA is at 14,000 feet. So let's go ahead and put those clouds up at 10 to 20. Okay, great. All right, cool. So that works. That works. And then we could just depart runway 19. Yeah, we'll just be a right crosswind departure for runway 19. And then we'll just join the 251. We'll just join that Victor 330 to Idaho Falls. We'll pick up the IFR clearance, and we'll keep track of these reporting points: Pine, Ludich, Ossity. Ossity is a minimum crossing altitude, or you could see that it's an MCA. If you're eastbound on Victor 330, you need to cross that at 9,500, but we're going to be at 14,000 as it is, so everything's fine. And then we'll be from Idaho Falls on a feeder at 7,000 feet. We'll be clear to descend. And then we'll just do the ILS in... Yeah, that's way, way cooler. How good is this ILS here? Oh, pretty good. So it gets us down 200 feet above the ground. Looks like it's a glide slope intercept at 6,000 feet. And we're down on the ILS to 4652 on the altimeter is 200 feet above the ground. Cool, that'll work. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we're probably only going to have time for this one flight. And then... Okay, cool. We'll get our frequencies here. All right, so the ATIS is 120625. 120.
Jackson Hole information India. 1700 Zulu weather. Wind calm. Visibility 2. Sky conditions 3000 broken. Temperature 13, 2.6. Altimeter 2992. Arriving runway 01. Departing runway 01. Advise on initial contact you have India. Jackson Hole information India. 1700 Zulu weather. Wind calm. Visibility 2. Sky conditions 3000 broken. Temperature 13, 2.6. Altimeter 2992. Arriving runway 01. Departing runway 01. Advise on initial contact you have India.
Okay. And then we've got a ground on 124.55.
Sky conditions 3000 broken. Temperature 13, 2.6. Altimeter 2992. Arriving runway 01. Departing runway 01.
124.
Advise on initial contact you have India.
Wait, what? How is... Wait, why is my Pilot Edge not in my plugins? I thought I used it before in X-Plane. Like, or since I've re-downloaded it. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to have to figure this out for our next time, because we're short time, so... I'm just going to give us a clearance that we're cleared to the... Yeah, because I would be doing ATC right now if... I don't understand why... Yeah, I think I just download this and then I put it in my plugins, if I'm not mistaken. Is it custom data? Where are the plugins? Oh, really? Dang, okay, cool. That was my next one. I think this is the only one. I think I can just do it here, right? Sorry, guys. Oh, you run it outside of the sim? That's what Microsoft Flight Sim does. Oh, Mac Windows. So create a folder called Pilot Edge. Ensure that pilots know the letters in the name. Move the Pilot Edge plugins folder. Boom, dude. That's what we did. Nice. Sick. Pilot Edge. So configuring settings. Make sure that you have contact ATC. I do have that function already. Sound. Adjust the sound. Selecting the input output. So preferences. Boom. Make sure that the thing is configured. Okay, cool. Okay, this should do it. Oops. There we go. And then going back to pilot, or I'm sorry, to Sky Vector, that was Pocatello, PIH. And then we wanted Victor 330 First of all, let's make sure that we got it. There we go. Okay, cool. Preferences. The mic is going to be that. And then the output is the speakers. Okay, cool. And there we go. Taxi, avionics, pitot heat. Okay, cool. A little bit of clouds out there. Okay, that looks way better. And then we got the weather. 12455. And then towers 118.075. All right, nice. Seven 5 6 Foxtrot Zulu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 7470 Romeo, do you remember your pattern instruction? Right downwind? Or runway 9er, right? Correct. 70 Romeo. Okay, so if you're looking straight down the runway, lined up on runway 27, just keep in mind if I've got a departure, you guys are going to be nose to nose. So right downwind, you want to be offset. So you're from the southeast, so generally head towards midfield to join the right downwind for that pattern instruction, right? Apologies, I was trying to do a 45 entry. Yeah, you do want to do a 45 degree entry, but you want to do it at midfield. Right now you're flying the opposite direction, right down the pipe of the departures, right? So your 45 degree entry needs to be done directly to the midfield rather than from the departure end, yeah? Okay, understood. We're 70 Romeo on right downwind for runway 9er, clear to land, 5006.
Dude, and now...
Clear to land, runway 9, 70 Romeo.
Of course my... Oh, you know what? Because I'm paused. Shit. Okay, here we go. We got takeoff flaps. Okay, cool. We got our parking brake on. And for the life of me, what is Pocatello? God, this airport is so hard to remember. All right, so we got our charts. We're on with ground. Pocatello, Jackson Hole ground for Pocatello. Oh, and we have not filed,
You're all
so.
sorts of messed up here. Go around, make right traffic, runway 9er. Going around, 70 Romeo. We're 70 Romeo, right traffic for runway 9er. Right
VFR 756 Foxtrot
You don't have an
Zulu.
airport diagram, you might want to go and snag one just to make sure you're looking at the right runway. Right now you're flying down the path of runway 4. That should confirm with your compass.
KJAC KPIH 14,000 alternate airport. Let's do Madison County RXE. It's all right. Normally we take a lot more time selecting our alternate, but I'm coming up short time here. So I'm gonna say Victor 330. We're gonna depart VFR first. Let me actually call him up and see if I have to. Jackson Hole County ground, Cessna 756 Foxtrot Zulu. Quick question when you get a chance.
Number 6 Foxtrot Zulu, Jackson ground, go ahead.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to, I was wondering if we were going to depart VFR and get an IFR clearance later. Do you want us to file VFR as well, or can I hold off on the filing for when we're IFR later?
Well, same as the real world. You don't have to file a VFR flight plan in the U.S.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks. All right. So that's good. Obviously, in the real world, you don't have to, but I wasn't sure for their, purposes. It's easier for them if we do. So, we'll file IFR 14,000 Victor 330 to
ID Romeo runway 9er, clear to land.
Runway 9, clear to
A
land, 70 Romeo. Thanks for the help.
and then PIH ILS. Okay, cool. Custom weather, and we're gonna hold off on that to file. Sweet. We have our weather. Jackson Hole ground, Cessna 756 Foxtrot Zulu at the east ramp. Request taxi runway 19er with Zulu.
Number 756 Foxtrot Zulu, no need to request a runway, I guess, unless it's opposite of what normal ops are. I know you called with Zulu, but 99.9% of the time they're going to run 19 out of Jackson anyway. Aircraft type and direction of depart, though. Departure is what I need.
All right, that's going to be a right crosswind departure for runway 19er, and then taxi 756 Foxtrot Zulu.
6 Foxtrot Zulu, direction of departure, just cardinal direction and your aircraft type, please.
That's a westbound departure, and we're a 182 type.
Skylane 756 Foxtrot Zulu, Jackson ground, runway 19er, taxi via Alpha.
Taxi via Alpha, runway 19er, 756 Foxtrot Zulu.
Number 70 Romeo.
This guy's weird, dude.
Frequency's fine. Taxi to the ramp via Alpha.
He's a crabby pants.
Taxi via Alpha, 70 Romeo.
All right, at last, we are ready for taxi. Clear Alpha. And that's Alpha right there. Actually, yeah, that is Alpha. There's our line. You never know sometimes with X-plane. Oh, by the way, are you guys, is he coming in, is the controller coming in clear? It's not like echoey, is it? Okay, awesome. Yeah, I tried to adjust. I think last time Yeah, just rude, dude. The guy's like weird. By the way, like that's not the things that he's just being like a douche. Like first of all, a ground controller they don't need to know your departure type. And you can request whatever runway like that you want as long as the winds favor it. So it doesn't matter what they typically do. Like I'm giving you the radio call that you need to know from me to issue me a taxi clearance. You don't need to know my departure type as a ground controller. Okay, cool. So run up, flight controls. Flight controls are free and correct. Instruments. So we've got tower on. Let's see, that parking brake should be on. And tower is there. Salt Lake Center is on 13325. Oh my God. Fuck. Okay, 13325. And let's see here. The VOR is Jackson Hole is 115.4. And we are getting Jackson Hole, and that's going to be the 251 radial to Pine. 251. Let me just text my student here. All right, so nav is set there. We need the DME. So that Pine right there is, oh, we actually need Idaho as well, is 113.85. And we'll do that on nav 2 as well, so we can track Jackson Hole.
Like I didn't get the handoff to LA. Stand by one moment. Oh, I'll hurry. Walker 380, contact LA Center 133.2. Thanks for that.
And then we'll do DME. We'll do, let's see here, bearing pointer 2. We got the DME right there. We'll do DME from nav 1. Looking really good. And then we'll set our cruise at altitude at 14,000. All right. Instruments are set. We're gas. We're gonna make sure our mixture is lean because we're up at altitude. And run up. So we're gonna go 17, or I believe it's 1800 RPM. All right, and we're gonna test our mags. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 1. Pressure, let's see here. Oil pressure, temperature, cylinder head is good. ITT is good. Fuel, electrical is good. Let's cycle the prop. We're looking for a drop in RPM and a rise in manifold pressure and a drop in oil pressure. There we go. Do one more.
Number 675 uniform with Sierra, contact clearance with your request.
Good. Okay, cool. And the electrical is good. Cal flaps are open, and then idle. Awesome. Runway heading is 187. Set that heading bug. (187). All right, cool. And Jackson Hole ground, Cessna 756 Foxtrot Zulu, run up complete, request to continue taxi runway 19.
Number 6 Foxtrot Zulu, your taxi instruction was to runway 19. Runway 19 taxi via Alpha.
Runway 19 taxi Alpha 756 Foxtrot Zulu. Alright, pre-takeoff check is complete. We're departing runway 19er with 6,300 feet of available runway. Lift off at, I believe at 65, and we're going to be pitching for 90 indicated. We have our altitude set, 14,000 cruise. It's going to be a right... actually... hold short of the runway right here, and I'm going to see about if we can just do a box climb above the airport to our MEA. All right. And I just want to make sure that I know, is this runway... Yeah, it's left traffic. Okay, cool. So I'm going to ask for a left box climb up to our altitude. And we're on with the tower, COM 1. And we're good to go. We're holding short runway 19er at Alpha 4. You know, the other thing I'll do is flight plan wise, we'll go from there. We'll see if we can load at the airway. No. Okay, cool. So JAC. We'll load the airway from JAC, And that's going to be Victor 330. To 330 to IDA should have been in there. Here we go. And then K P I H. All right, KPIH, and then we're going to load our procedure, load our approach. We're doing the ILS runway 21 from IDA. And we'll worry about minimums later. All right, sweet. Jackson Hole Tower, Cessna 756 Foxtrot Zulu, holding short, runway 19er at Alpha 4, requesting a left box climb to 14,000 feet, and then an eastbound departure.
Number 756 Foxtrot Zulu, Jackson Tower, left turns approved, runway 19er, cleared for takeoff, wind level 4.
Clear for takeoff, runway 19er at 756 Foxtrot Zulu. All right, cool. Awesome. We are leaned for altitude. Takeoff flaps are in. Clear final.
Approaching runway 19. Entered runway 19. 6,200 feet remaining.
Get centered here, and I'm showing 19er on the HSI and 19er on the compass. Let's go. All right, systems are green on the roll, and airspeed is alive. And we are left crosswind, or I'm sorry, a left box climb. Positive rate, gear up. All right, safe altitude, safe speed, positive rate, flaps up. $6,400 feet, so gonna pull that prop back 2350.
Cherokee 8675 uniform, request VFR departure to Selma practice area at 3,000 feet, Sierra.
Deliver 8675 uniform again with Sierra. It requests that all VFR departures contact clearance delivery with your request with your on-course heading and altitude and whether or not advisories are requested.
I see, thank you.
All right, cool. Climb check. We've got, we're producing power. RPM is set. Pressure, temperature, electrical is good. ITT is good. Battery is happy. And
Good there. Flaps are set. Cow flaps remain open for the climb. We're 9,000 for 14,000. $10,000 for 14,000. And we are ready for our IFR clearance. Once we actually get on the airway. I'm just gonna make one more pass probably. We've got another 4,000 feet to go. I really want to be at that airway at the MEA. Show you where we're at right here. Jackson Hole Tower 756 Foxtrot Zulu. Frequency change, please.
Number 6 Foxtrot Zulu, what's your altitude?
We're 11,500, climbing 14,000.
Just so you know for next time, the ceiling of the Jackson Hole airspace is only 8,900 feet. Once you clear the delta, you don't need to request a frequency change. You can do that all on your own.
Roger, thanks.
No problem, good day.
Yeah. Dude, it is always good to ask. This is Salt Lake Center, so Salt Lake Center 756 Foxtrot Zulu in a in visual conditions box climb over Jackson Hole County, requesting IFR to Pocatello. Oh, you know what? We haven't filed yet. Sorry about that. Salt Lake Center, 756 Foxtrot Zulu.
Yes, sir, no need to cold call.
756 Foxtrot Zulu, requesting IFR Pocatello as filed, Long Victor 330.
Number 756 Foxtrot Zulu, maintain VFR squawk 3137.
3137, maintain VFR, 756 Foxtrot Zulu. 3137. Thousand feet away. 31.
Fresno clearance. What is your direction of departure? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the practice area.
We'll try and turn the volume down of this aircraft though.
Cherokee 8675 uniform Fresno clearance. Fresno departure frequency 119.6. Squawk is 0413. We need to read back. There you go. November 8675 uniform readback is correct. In contact ground with the Edison. Ready to taxi. November 756 Foxtrot Zulu. You're below my minimum vectoring altitude. IFR clearance is not available. Maintain VFR. Radar contact 3 south of the Jackson Hole VOR. Verify altitude.
756 Foxtrot Zulu is 13. We're at 14,000. We're hoping to just go on the. We're at the MEA for the Victor Airway. We're hoping to just track that.
All right, but you only filed Victor 330. Are you going to Jackson Hole?
No, we're going to Pocatello.
Okay, no, the Jackson Hole VOR. The Jackson VOR.
Yes, from Jackson VOR.
November 756 Foxtrot Zulu. Maintain VFR to the Jackson VOR. Cleared it to Pocatello Airport via Jackson. Then as filed. And after the Jackson VOR, maintain 14,000.
All right, we'll maintain VFR until Jackson VOR, and then cross at maintain 14,000, and then clear to Pocatello. Sorry, Jackson has filed 14,000. All right, cool. We're at 14,000. Increase our power here. All right, cool. And we have 251 selected. And we are now officially IFR. So we're going to, we did our climb right there, and then let's take that off. Okay, so going back to our Enroute lesson and what we actually learned chart symbols wise, we see here that the MEA is 14,000 feet. You can see that above the Victor 330. Cruise check is complete, descent to go. And we noticed that the we've got 28 miles between the VOR and Pine. Let's see here, actually. Pretty beautiful airplane, even though it's all white. Okay. And there's that. So our airplane's going to intercept this 251 right here. And we're just keeping track of our DME at this point. We need DME coming from nav 1. Actually, we're coming up to a changeover point, right? See that changeover point that's right up ahead of us on looks like 10 miles from Jackson, and then 48 miles from was it Idaho Falls? So right at that point where we are 10 miles away from Jackson, we can switch over to Idaho Falls, which we have ready to go. This is when we would listen to the Morse code of Jackson, make sure that we've got the that Morse code right there, and that we listen to Idaho, that Morse code right there. So all I'm doing is looking at this right here, and once that gives us our distance from whatever the nav 1 source is, which is Jackson. So once that is 10, I'm going to switch that over to 113.85. And it looks like our ground speed, what are we up to on our ground speed? We're doing 174 knots ground speed. So climb check complete. Let's start thinking about our ATIS and stuff over at destination airport. Procedures, approach, ILS. All right. ASOS is going to be 135.625. Yeah, I texted my student that he's running a little late anyways. So I was going to do, I told him I'd need like 15 or 20 more minutes on top of 3, so like 3:20 or so. And he was like, oh, thank God, I'm like running behind too. So all good. Thanks for the, for looking out though, Peter. You got it, Peter. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. Let's see about briefing this approach here. So yeah, 135.625. Ordinary. Hello, hello. Welcome. 135.625. Oh, dude, thanks for the, it's a tapestry, actually. A poster would be actually really cool, but yeah, it's actually a cloth tapestry. Really, really awesome. And I got a little astronaut right there, a neon astronaut. Dude, this is my favorite part of IFR flying, by the way, when you're like totally come out of the clouds like that and you're surrounded. I love it. We're in like a big bowl. Okay, and we're going to be on with 128.35. Yeah, I really appreciate that though, Ordinary. You're a space fan? Fan of space exploration and space stuff? I definitely am. It's a cool little splinter of aviation, you know? 12835. Dude, Kerbal Space Program! I'm yelling, sorry. I miss that game so much. And I never really got super good at it. There are some people that are really dedicated, but I mean, I was definitely like, you know, establishing myself in a low orbit of somewhere, and like, you know, branching off. And oh, you know what? Where even am I right now? I need to pay attention to where I'm at. I should be over to... There we go. And there's that. And then Pine should be 30 DME. Okay, great. So 30, 22, sounds good. And then after that, it's going to be the 207. Yeah, Kerbal Space Program is great. Oh, I was saying I could establish myself in like a low orbit. And, oh, that's going to be what? 249. Yeah, in a low orbit, and then leave, and then join the orbit of like a new place. That was always really cool. And like doing, the concept of doing science, like, at a new planet or a new moon is like freaking awesome. And they're cute as hell, those little guys. So, okay, we're on with 128.35 tower, and then the localizer is going to be 110.3.
Number 6 Foxtrot, Zulu Pocatello, altimeter 3046. Advise when you have the weather. I'll take your approach request as well.
Okay, thanks a lot. We'll advise. We'll get it right now. 65 Foxtrot Zulu. Super funny though. Yeah, dude. I love their little, like, that they're little explorers and stuff. They're adorable. No, I'm on a Pilot Edge actually. Yeah. So what do you like to do in Kerbal? Are you like more like the aircraft and like the aerospace, or like the atmospheric stuff, or are you like trying to like do huge rockets, or what? One 135,625. Seven 5 6 Foxtrot Zulu. We're still waiting for the weather to come in, but we're requesting the ILS runway 21 from Idaho.
Number 6 Foxtrot Zulu, no problem. Expect that, and just report when you have the weather.
You got it. Thanks a lot. Okay, cool. So let's see. Briefing the rest of this approach. We got our localizer put in there. Let's localizer is 110.3. Final approach course is 210 or 211. Crossing Taihi at 5715 on the altimeter. Down on the ILS to a DA of 4652 on the altimeter, 200 above the ground. Touchdown zone elevation is 4452. MSA is right there in the circle. Missed approach is a climb to 7400 direct. The Pocatello VOR. Continue to climb via on the V269 radial, then right turn direct Pocatello and hold. DME required. Let's see here. VSI, or the vertical glide slope indication in the ILS glide path, not coincident. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Pilot controlled landing on 19.1. No notable terrain, really. We'll be in here from, looks like Barzy. The wind indicator on the G1000 is right here. And so what you can do is like do a crosswind component like that, or just straight crosswind component. Like this is tailwind and crosswind numerical values, like here more pictorially and stuff. But yeah, no wind in this sim right now. All right, so yeah, there's our glide slope intercept at 6,000. And let's see here. Oh, that would be Taihi is actually for the localizer. The glide slope intercept is at 6,000. And then we'll be descending down. We'll probably do this at like 120 knots down on the ILS to a DA 4652, 2400 RVR or half-mile visibility, and then Mauser approach light type with a PAPI off to the left. So that approach briefing is complete. And here we are coming up to Idaho. Ordinary. You're working on. It says I'm working on my IFR rating at the moment. Oh, fantastic! Very, very cool. Super cool that you're a CFI. Oh, thanks. Are you a double I? I am a CF double I. I don't know exactly how that works. So yeah, the instructor, just like you're trying to have a, you're trying to add an instrument rating to your pilot certificate. That's what essentially what you're trying to do. The flight instructor will undergo additional training to add an instrument rating to their flight instructor certificate. That's how that works. And they just need to be able to teach the instrument rating on the ground and in the airplane, some of the common errors, and really have a really good grasp on how the instruments work and their errors, how to teach good checklists and decision making. So a lot of good things like added on to when you're a double I. And the cool thing is I'm an amputee, so my left arm is gone, and I believe I'm the only amputee in the country who is a double I and who's multi-engine land rated as well, commercial multi-engine land instrument on my pilot certificate. And so what I like to do is I like to bring that uniqueness to flight instruction and teach my students how to stay on top of things and how to have good checklist discipline so they can not get behind. I am multi-engine land rated on my commercial pilot certificate. I'm not a multi-engine instructor. I've been thinking about it, but yeah, I really enjoy the instrument rating as my favorite type of instruction. And I have a healthy combination right now of couple of instrument students that are in the sim right now, and probably 4 private pilot students that are learning. So it's pretty awesome, man. I've taught in a variety of aircraft, and I have all this. I was the chief ground instructor at my previous flight school, and I had all this really good ground material that I wanted to start integrating into the stream space and bringing that uniqueness to the streaming space. So that's kind of what I was doing here, is I'll have a set schedule. Like today we were doing IFR Enroute procedures. Actually, you might want to tune in. I mean, you can feel free to tune in any day. We do Tuesdays through Fridays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Tuesdays are we do IFR Tuesdays, but the focus this month has really been private pilot. Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, private pilot stuff. Oh, thanks for the follow. Private pilot, so tomorrow we've got private pilot regulations at 8 p.m. And then I'm actually out on Thursday, but we're back on Friday for the Airman Certification Standards, Flight Standards Fridays. So it's Ground and Sim Wednesdays, Flight Skills Thursdays, and Flight Standards Fridays. It's pretty cool. No, you're certainly welcome. How's the instrument rating going? How's the training going? Did you just start it? Peter, my pleasure. Yeah, no, I'm glad it worked out. Sorry about the hiccup earlier on with Pilot Edge. I guess I hadn't. I guess I was using Pilot Edge for Microsoft Flight Sim, and I hadn't updated. Downloaded and put the plugin in the folder. So yeah, thanks for the patience and thanks for the participation. You're awesome. Have a great day, man. You said, I'm not too far along yet getting prepared to take the written before beginning my flight portion. Very, very smart. Very smart. That's the way to go, is get your written done first. And then get to it. So, where are you at in the, oh, you mean, you're all part 61, I think is what you mean. You're not 141, you're doing it 61?
Number 6 Foxtrot Zulu, descend and maintain 10,000.
14,000 for 10,000, 756 Foxtrot Zulu. 10,000.
Pocatello RGNL information November. 1800 Zulu weather. Wind calm. Visibility
Dude, that's awesome, man. So where are you in the knowledge test stuff?
5,000 broken. Temperature 17, 2.6. Altimeter 2992. Arriving runways 21, 35. Departing runways 21, 35. Advise on initial contact, you have November. Pocatello RGNL information Lima. 1700 Zulu weather. Wind calm, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 5000 broken, temperature 17, 2.6. Altimeter 2992. Arriving runways 21, 35. Departing runways 21, 35. Advise on initial contact, you have Lima.
All right, cool. 5,000 broken. Let's actually drop that down.
Pocatello RGNL information Lima.
2,800 broken. Yeah, sure.
1700 Zulu weather.
756 Foxtrot Zulu has the weather for Pocatello.
Sky
Number 6 Foxtrot Zulu,
1800 broken, temperature 17, 2.11. Altimeter
And it looks like we're gonna be a right, or I'm sorry, a left on a
Departing runways 2,
from
advise on initial contact.
yeah to Bars. So that we're basically on the approach chart from Ida. That's gonna be a 190 to Bars. Ordinary. I've got to run. Really excited to tune in for the instrument flying. Have a good one. You too. Hey, thanks for the support, and thanks for dropping by, man. We'll see you next time.
Number 6 Foxtrot Zulu, cross Idaho Falls, VOR at or above 10,000 for the ILS runway 21 approach Pocatello.
All right, we'll cross Idaho at or above 10,000 for the ILS into Pocatello. Thanks.
35. Departing runways 21, 35. Advise on initial contact, you have Lima.
And that's a 190. So let's go ahead and set that. And then we're gonna go 190. And then let's go nav. Let's see here. Can I get away with a flight sim on a 27-inch curved monitor, or should I get 2 or 3? Dude, absolutely. You can get away with that. You know what you're gonna need though is your something like a head tracker, like what I have, to be able, if you're gonna have one monitor, so you can like look around. You know, you can look around really, really well. That's what I would recommend. King School written prep Shepherd Air equals 100 Vox. Yeah, dude, you like that King Air or the King Air, the King School stuff? I've definitely taught students out of it, and it seems very good, very tried and true, but very like outdated kind of. Like they should modernize it. That's cool, man. Yeah, Iowa, the track IR, man. The VR I would definitely not be able to do for myself personally. Vox, you like that G1000 course was good also. So I'm doing G1000 actually at the end of the month. All next week is automation in G1000, and it's G1000 geared toward the private pilot. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday and Thursday are it's not going to be IFR craziness. It's going to be VFR conditions, and
Destination ATIS is 135.
and we should have bars actually right now. Let's go ahead and activate the approach. Yeah, from Ida to Bars. I'm actually gonna go. Oh, awesome. Do you have your computer spec or set up anywhere on your Twitch? Oh, no, I should, huh? Yeah, I totally should. Flaps 1, approach flaps. Yeah, I'll put that on there. And I'm just trying to configure here, and then we can have a chat after about that. But yeah, G1000 course, dude, absolutely. Just like what's what, and it's gonna be really nice. Well, VR for me is flying and streaming at the same time. Oh, that's cool, man. Okay, so our approach briefing is complete. We've got bars. Let's go do this actually. I'm thinking CDI, and then we will go nav and heading, and then what we'll do is go heading mode. Oh, and he cleared us, so we're cleared to descend. 7,000. So we're clear to descend down to that 7,000 foot altitude right there, right before Bars. You see it's a 190, 7,000 right there. No procedure turns. So yeah, I'm descending down to, I have 20 miles to Bars, and nice steady descent from 10,000 to 7,000. And let's see here, the ILS we need to tune into 110.3. We have that set, and then the final approach course is 210. 210 right here. You know, actually, I think you're going to be even more excited because B-Pain. I've got G1000 is on Thursday, on Flying Skills Thursday, G1000 cross-countrying with it, but then on the 29th, Ground School and Sim, I'm actually going to be doing the Garmin GTN 750, some of a bit more modern GPS, so we'll be looking at GPS automation from a couple different standpoints. Next week. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, cool. We're good there. We're good on that 190. We're going to Bars. Nav mode. Okay, cool. Both will be informational. The local flight school here has all G1000. It will be my first time behind the system. Oh, dude, B-Pain, absolutely then, dude. Like, tune in. It's going to be really, really nice. So thorough. You're going to, like, we're going to come back to... Actually, we're probably going to do... What is it, a 172? Because I've been thinking about just doing it in a chill, like, 172. This is a 182. It's a high performance. You can see the speeds are, like, kind of crazy. But, oh, no way. A 182 G1000 would be nuts. Yeah, we'll probably hang out on oh, this pitot heat should be on, and these cowl flaps should be closed for the descent, and should have been closed for cruise actually. 1,000 we're 8,000 for 7,000. Yeah. So we'll probably look at the 172, I imagine, rather than the 182. But maybe we'll do both. Who knows? But I think it's going to be really good. And we're just going to do like VFR cross-country stuff. Nearest airports, direct to function, tracking and intercepting VORs, GPS function. We can use the autopilot, you know. It'll be great, dude. You're going to really, really like it. And it's going to be so familiar to you. All right, we got 10 miles to Bars. Yeah, I agree, Vox. Yeah, that's really cool, huh? Save you tons of money. Absolutely. You'll be able to... Everything will be super familiar. Let's bring this clouds down a little more.
Number 6 Foxtrot Zulu, no traffic observed between you and the Pocatello Airport. Report cancellation of IFR or Mr. Roach while airborne on this frequency, or you can cancel on the ground within 5 minutes of landing on 122.2. Frequency change approved.
All right, thanks. I'll stay with you and then report on 122.2, 756 Foxtrot Zulu. Thanks for the help. Next one's going to be 6,500. Just getting eyes on it, watching you is helping my nav and comm locations, developing a scan as well. Absolutely. The thing about when you're doing the instrument rating in the G1000, you'll notice the scan on the PFD is very, very easy. It's obviously a T scan, right? Your attitude, HSI, attitude, airspeed, attitude, altimeter, attitude, VSI, right? You can actually group your pitch attitude changes here really nicely. Whoa, B-Pain gifting 5-tier subs. Oh my goodness. The total of 5 in the channel with the subs. Thank you so much. B-Pain, incredible.
Victor 495. Battleground to VOR. And then direct. Climb and maintain 9,000. Expect 11,000 within 5 minutes. Cascade is on 119.6.
The other thing that we're going to go through is the flight plan on the... Obviously, there's like a flight plan portion right here in the bottom corner that we can toggle with the flight plan button like that. We can also edit the flight plan in this window right here, but really where it's at is over here. Flight plan, boom. Like, you have all this stuff right here. Yeah, dude, I appreciate that a lot, man. I really appreciate that. All right, 7,000.
Oscar Yankee Tango Bravo Mike.
And the tower is going to be 119.1. And the one thing that sucks is I'm not going to be able to really hang out and talk too much after I get to get on the ground because, yeah, I got to go to my guy, but you guys are awesome, man. Let's see here. We are in approach mode and then CDI. Awesome. 7,000 and then 6,005 is going to be the picking up that localizer. 6,005 is going to be here, the small knob. Just want to stay ahead of that. And then we're going to be arming the altitude. Glide slope is armed. We have the glide slope here, and localizer is here, obviously. So you guys get down to 6,500 now. And then we should be Cupta next. You can see Cupta or Cupta. Cupta is next there on the approach chart, and I'll kind of zoom out. I don't know if you guys can see. That's pretty good, actually. So we're 6,500 feet, looking real good. We're tracking that localizer. We have our heading indicator, or our heading bug set. I have the runway in sight, actually. I'm actually gonna take my approach flaps out. I'm gonna speed up here, man. Let's cut to the chase, eh? I think we're doing 150 knots. Alright, I'm just telling my student 330. And basically we're, well, yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get there a little bit faster, and if I can, okay, cool. Students cool with it. Awesome. See, but that's what I'm saying, man, is something like, oh, Cupta, what's the next one? 6,000. It's stuff like that, man, where you just like sub the people in here like that, that it's just like everybody's so awesome on Twitch, dude. And that's what makes me want to bring my information to Twitch and just have people sub and like support in general and donate or whatever. To me, I mean, I benefit from you know, teaching and practicing teaching, but honestly, like, I really believe strongly in paying it forward, and this is like one of the best ways to pay it forward. Like, give my information out, help contribute good, positive things to the aviation education, or to the aviation like community. You know, even if it's in the stream space, in the virtual space, and just contribute to like positive energy. And you guys are positive energy all the time. You guys are non-stop positive energy. It's so amazing. You guys support each other. Absolutely love it, dude. We're coming up here to glide slope intercept at 6,000. and approach, we should see this mode change here. There's a glide slope. See, that went from white to green. Glide slope capture, localizer is captured, and we have the localizer here and the glide slope here. Missed approach altitude is 74, so we're gonna go ahead and dial that in to the reference. There's the outer marker right there, by the way. You see the outer marker that we're just now passing? What did we say, 74? And we better slow this thing down.
Final runway 21.
Okay, and autopilot off. This airplane actually is a little screwy. Like, even though X-Plane is, I feel, the superior, the superior flight sim for aerodynamics, I feel like this airplane is like crazy whack, dude, with like when you hand fly it, or at least when you fly when you have to hand fly it like precisely for the IFR ops, you know.
500.
Let's keep that speed up. Nice stable approach. Slightly high. Let's go ahead and get that glide slope back. Here it comes. Trim it out. 13 inches is pretty good. Actually back that off to like 11. Don't want to go below that glide slope. I'm over here, partial flap. Coming down into ground effect. Power idle. Awesome. Looks like left at Alpha 3. Yeah, it is really cool. Like you were saying, it's nothing compared to 2 or 3 hours of ground school. First of all, absolutely it is. I mean, any gesture at all is so cool. And oh my gosh, this thing is so off balance, by the way. But I will say that, like, I think that I really appreciate that acknowledgement, because yeah, like, you're looking at 4-flight up there in the corner. I pay for like a premium 4-flight, and that's also Jeppesen procedures, like terminal procedures. I pay extra for those. I pay for the pilot edge, you know. So I mean, it's dope. It's dope that you appreciate that, you know. And you're awesome. So you guys, I got a jet for my student, but you guys are awesome, man. I look forward to this every single time, and there's always something really cool that happens with you guys, and some cool conversation, or some, you know, like, even if it's just like support for each other, and just backing each other up. I see you guys in the chat helping each other out with sim stuff. I mean, that's what's up, man, and that's what I see everywhere on Twitch anyways. Thank you guys for tuning in. B-Pain, great session. I really appreciate that as well. Iowa, great rest of the day, and you as well. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Private pilot regulations might not even sim, or if I do, it'll be like something like maybe unrelated or something, maybe just like a cross country where, you know, we'll be you know, looking at fuel regulation, or, you know, fuel reserves, and we'll do VFR cruising altitudes or airspace or something like that. That's regulatory, but private pilot regulations is where it's at, man. So feel free, you know, drop in tomorrow 8 p.m. Thursday I'm out, but I'll be back on Friday to celebrate Zach's check ride, hopefully ending well, and then
8 p.m. is pre-flight prep, airman certification standards of the private pilot, areas C and D. So, or tasks C and D. That's weather. That's weather, and I forget what the other one is. So, yeah, tune in. So tomorrow, 8 p.m. regulations. I'll see you guys there. Have a great day, man. You guys are great.